She left when I was a nobody. Said she couldn't be with a guy who delivers food for a living. I just stood there watching the door close behind her. A year later, millions of views on TikTok. And suddenly she's back in my life. But this time, everything's different. My name's Chris, I'm 26, and until last year, I was delivering food on my busted-up bike just to keep the lights on. I lived in a tiny studio apartment above a noisy bar, and every morning started the same way. Coffee from the corner bodega, then out on the streets dodging traffic and praying for decent tips. It wasn't glamorous, but it was honest work. I didn't come from money, and college left me with more debt than direction. So I hustled. I told myself it was temporary, just a stepping stone while I figured out what to really do with my life. The thing is, I wasn't alone in all this. I had a girlfriend, Laura. She was everything I thought I wanted. Smart, ambitious, gorgeous. She worked in PR, always dressed like she was heading to a Vogue photo shoot, and had this way of making everyone in the room look at her. At first, things were good. She used to say she admired my work ethic, said I was grounded, real. But that didn't last long. As her career took off, mine looked stagnant. I was still pulling 10-hour shifts on the bike, while she got promotions, flew out for client meetings, posted rooftop cocktails on Instagram. And slowly, things started to change. The way she looked at me. The things she said when she thought I wasn't listening. Little digs. Comments like, "You ever think about getting a job where you don't smell like fries?" God, it's exhausting dating someone who still lives like a college student. Or the one that hit hardest. My friends keep asking why I'm still with you. I tried to brush it off. Thought maybe I was being too sensitive. Maybe she was just stressed. But deep down, I felt it. The distance. The disappointment. Like she was waiting for me to turn into someone I wasn't. And then, one night, it all came to a head. That night, I came home early from my shift. It was pouring outside, and I was soaked to the bone. But I had a smile on my face. I'd grabbed Laura's favorite pasta from this little Italian place we both loved. Thought maybe we could have a quiet night in, talk a bit, reconnect. She was on the couch when I walked in, legs curled up, wine glass in hand, scrolling on her phone like I didn't exist. I dropped the food on the counter, took off my soaked jacket and said, "Hey, I brought your favorite. Let's just chill tonight. No stress." She didn't even look up. Just took a sip of wine, sighed and said, "We need to talk." You know that cold rush you feel when you already know what's coming but still hope you're wrong? Yeah. That. I sat down on the edge of the couch. She turned toward me slowly, like she'd rehearsed this moment 100 times. And then, without flinching, she said it. "I can't do this anymore, Chris. I'm tired of pretending. Tired of carrying this relationship. You're a great guy, but I feel like I'm dating someone stuck in neutral. You have no ambition." I blinked. Tried to laugh it off, like maybe this was just a bad night. But she kept going. "I want someone with drive. Someone who can actually go somewhere in life. Not someone delivering pad thai in the rain." That one stung. It wasn't even what she said. It was how casually she said it. Like she'd been holding on to it for months and finally let herself breathe. I asked, "Is this really about my job?" She looked at me like I was stupid. "It's about everything. The job, the apartment, the fact that I'm growing and you're just stuck." Then she stood up, grabbed her coat, and walked to the door. "I need more. I want more. And I'm done waiting for you to catch up." And just like that, she left. I didn't chase her. I couldn't move. I just sat there, listening to the rain hammering the windows, the smell of garlic and parmesan filling the room. That night, something snapped in me. I wasn't angry. Not really. I was humiliated. Like I'd been exposed for being less than. Like every insecurity I ever had was now confirmed. And that's when I made the decision. If she thought I had no ambition, fine. I'd show her what ambition really looked like. The first few weeks after the breakup were rough. I was still working deliveries, but my heart wasn't in it. Every apartment door I knocked on, every overpriced sushi I handed off. It all just reminded me that I was exactly who she said I was. Stuck. But then something strange happened. I started talking to myself. Not in a crazy way. More like narrating my day in my head, turning every weird delivery into a bit. Like the time I delivered to a guy who answered the door wearing nothing but a rubber horse mask. Or the customer who asked me to sing Happy Birthday through the intercom while holding a taco. And one day, without really thinking, I recorded a video. It was just me, reenacting a delivery gone wrong. I put on a hoodie, used different voices, threw in a few sound effects. I posted it on TikTok, set it to some trending audio, and forgot about it. Next morning, I woke up to 87,000 views. I thought it was a glitch. I opened my phone, hundreds of comments, people tagging friends, laughing, asking for part 2. So I made another. Then another. Delivery horror stories, awkward customer encounters, fake skits of me talking to rude managers or snooty rich people, and people loved it. By the end of the month, I had 120,000 followers. I started using my breaks between deliveries to shoot short clips. It was scrappy. Just me, a cracked iPhone, editing in the Notes app. But it worked. People didn't just watch, they related. They saw their own crappy jobs, their own terrible customers, in my stories. I was turning the worst parts of my day into comedy, and people couldn't get enough. I started posting daily. Stayed up late studying TikTok trends, editing, writing. It became a second job. But for the first time in a long time, I wasn't ashamed of what I was doing. I was excited. One night I posted a sketch about delivering to a mansion and being mistaken for the gardener. It was ridiculous. Over the top. I nearly didn't post it. The next morning, it had 1.3 million views. That was the moment. That was when I realized, maybe I wasn't stuck. Maybe I was just getting started. After that mansion sketch, everything exploded. Brands started reaching out. I got a DM from a podcast network. A guy who managed influencers offered to help me build a strategy. I wasn't sure what any of that meant, but I said yes. Within 2 months, I quit delivery. I was making more money from 30-second videos than I ever had hustling 60 hours a week on my bike. I upgraded my phone. Got a cheap mic. Started treating it like a real job. My follower count shot past 1 million. I got verified. People started recognizing me on the street. And yeah, I won't lie. It felt good. Especially because I knew Laura was still following me. She hadn't unfollowed me after the breakup. Never messaged. Never liked a thing. But I knew she saw the videos. Every time I posted something that blew up, a tiny part of me wondered if she was watching. Regretting. Quietly eating her words. Then, one day, it happened. I was going through my DMS, deleting spam, and I saw a name I hadn't seen in almost a year. Laura. Message request. My heart jumped. The message said, "Hey, I've been seeing your stuff. You're doing amazing. Maybe we could catch up sometime?" I stared at it. Read it 3 times. Noticed she even added a little smiley face at the end. At first, I laughed. Out loud. It felt surreal. This was the same person who looked me in the eyes and told me I had no ambition. Who walked out without a second thought. Now here she was, sliding into my inbox like we were old friends. For a second, I wanted to delete the message. Then I wanted to roast her. Make a video. Expose her. But instead, I replied, "Sure. Let's meet up." Not because I missed her. Not because I wanted her back. I just wanted to see her face when she realized who I'd become. We met at a coffee shop downtown. Neutral territory. I got there early. Wore something simple but clean. She walked in 10 minutes late. Same dramatic flair, same designer bag on her arm. But this time there was something different. She looked a little nervous. Less sure of herself. "Hey," she said, sliding into the seat across from me. "Hey," I replied, calm. Collected. Like I was watching a scene play out instead of being in it. She launched right into it. How she's been watching my videos, how funny I am, how proud she is. She said, "I always knew you had something special. You just needed a little push. A little push? I sipped my coffee and nodded. I didn't say much. Just let her talk. She told me her job wasn't as great as it used to be. That she broke up with someone a few months ago. Wasn't the right fit. That things had been weird lately. Lonely. I listened. I really did. And somewhere around the third humble brag, she dropped the line I'd been waiting for. I was thinking, maybe we could start fresh, like, wipe the slate clean. She smiled like that was the most natural thing in the world. That's when I set my cup down. I looked her straight in the eyes and said, "You didn't want me when I was broke and figuring things out. You left when I needed someone the most. Now that I'm up, now you think it's your turn again?" Her face dropped. I didn't raise my voice, didn't gloat, just said, "I'm not your safety net. You don't get to come back just because life didn't go the way you planned." She blinked, opened her mouth, closed it again. I stood up, left a $5 bill on the table, and walked out without looking back. The sun was shining, and for the first time in a long, long time, I felt free. A week after that meeting, I made a TikTok. It wasn't about Laura, not directly. It was a story time, the kind of video I'd become known for. I titled it, "When the girl who dumped you for being broke comes crawling back once you go viral." I played both characters. Wore the same hoodie I'd had during my delivery days. Threw in some drama, a few punchlines. Let's just say, people knew exactly who I was talking about. The video hit 15 million views in 5 days. The comments? Savage. She fumbled the bag and the man. Bro, this is a full circle revenge arc. Imagine being her right now watching this. I didn't reply to any of them. Didn't need to. The satisfaction wasn't in the numbers or the attention. It was in knowing I didn't need to scream or beg or prove anything. I just lived my truth. And people saw it. Laura never messaged again. I'm pretty sure she saw the video. Pretty sure it stung. But by then, I didn't care anymore. Because here's what I learned. Sometimes, the best revenge isn't becoming rich or famous. It's becoming someone who doesn't need their approval anymore. So yeah, she dumped the broke delivery guy. Now I get paid to tell stories about it. Funny how that works out, huh? What would you do if your ex came back the moment you made it?